guys, so you have seen me install so many different wigs, a ton of different ways, using glue, the ball cap method, no cap method, a ponytail, literally it's endless. Okay, so I appreciate the support that you guys have continued to give me over the years. What I'm actually going to do now is actually throw on this wig really quickly so that we can get into the layering tutorial. So really quick, this is what the wig looks like. Of course, this is the 𝐲𝐻 African kinky straight unit. All the details will be listed down below, and let me show you the packaging. Let me grab this real quick. So y'all know I'm a stickler for packaging, and 𝐲𝐻 African always serves me right. Not that the box really matters in the long run. Ultimately, you want to make sure you got a nice unit that you're going to be able to wear, but I just had to point this out. And of course, there's some goodies in the box. So wig cap, wig comb, all that good stuff, edge brush, you name it, it's there. Okay, so if you don't have one already, whatever brush you've used to do your actual makeup, go ahead and grab that right now. I know that I have on a wig cap, but honestly, this is not matching the flesh. So I want to make sure that we kind of bump it up a notch to really make sure that we can blend this weave to perfection. So this is a quick look at the inside of the wig. You guys can see there is I guess parting space from ear to ear, and then of course it goes back pretty far. All of the actual dimensions will be posted down below. There is also an adjustable cap and then an elastic band here, which kind of mimics like a bra strap, so you'll be able to literally just tighten it as much as you need to. You guys, I'm not doing anything special like a ball cap method. Y'all, we literally have the wig cap on, and that's it. Okay, that's it. So I'm gonna go ahead, and if you haven't already, I did go ahead and kind of trim off the ear area here just to make it easier to just throw on and start installing. And then the same thing for the bottom half. There was some lace here. Go ahead and trim that off as well. I hope y'all aren't walking around with that on y'all head. Okay, so go ahead and just tilt the head. I'm pretty sure there's other methods to put on a wig, like just throwing it on from here, but like I've never done that, so let me try it now because I don't know why I do the dramatic way. Oh, it's just because it helps to feel a little bit more secure. For some reason, I don't know why I don't feel as secure with it like this. Okay, but nevertheless, now you're able to clearly see that wig cap up under there, which is not what we want. So what I'm gonna do is allow this to kind of slide back a little bit. Okay, so honestly, all that you're really gonna see is about this much parting space anyway. Lucky for me, I have a big forehead, so putting on wigs is actually extremely easy. If you do have a smaller forehead, I highly recommend doing the ball cap method, and I do have a few videos to show you how to do that, so I'll link those down below. But I'm gonna go ahead and just literally pull this forward to see what the fit is looking like. And right now, I'm honestly not even happy with the cap that's up under here, which we've already come to like common ground about. So no surprise here. So all that I'm doing is using whatever's left on the actual brush, and I'm gonna go ahead and just literally use that over the middle part area, because this is where we're gonna part the hair, and this is where I really needed to blend the most. The sides don't matter as much, but if you really want to get in there, you can. And you guys can see I literally applied no foundation. This is just whatever is left over, and you really want to focus this on the front. There we go. So now it's not like so white and just like this color. It's a little bit closer to our tone. So now I'm going to go ahead and reapply the wig and also do the exact same thing on the inside of the wig cap. So from here, this is also going to help with the illusion of bleached knots. It does look like these are lightly bleached, but they could go up a little bit more. So I'm just literally going to take this right down the parted area along the sides of the hairline. And I recommend doing this with like an already dirty brush, because sometimes foundation is just a little bit too wet, and unless you're using like a powder, I do not want this to like bleed through on the hair. It'll completely destroy what we're doing, and you'll end up needing to completely wash the unit, start from scratch. So definitely use just a dirty brush, or yeah, like some powder, and not a lot. Okay, and I mean, I'm really kind of putting some elbow grease into it, because this is how you really get that product off. All right, Alright, so I'm not sure if you guys can tell. You probably can't because the lace is pretty transparent, but now there's like this brownish kind of tint, which is gonna mimic, of course, my natural skin tone or my foundation skin tone. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put the wig back on, and I just simply prefer my way. I am gonna tighten this just a little bit more, and then I'm gonna go ahead and tilt. I have not actually tightened the wig cap itself, so the only thing that's tight right now is literally just the band, but the actual wig cap is not tight, which I'm thinking I want to go ahead and just tighten it. You guys can see already the difference that the cap made just by me applying a little bit of foundation. You cannot clearly see through this anymore, and we have the illusion of bleach knots up a notch. But I am gonna go ahead and tighten the cap. And now I feel super secure. Everything feels nice, tight, snug. And this is where you just kind of determine where you want everything to sit or lay. I've already cut off the ear tabs here, so I really don't have to do much. So what I like to do first is go ahead and just kind of tie the hair up, get it out of the way. And you can just use a clip to do this. All right. And then this is where we want to go ahead and just actually secure the wig. So this is what you've seen me do a million times. You can use the glue, you can use the Gotta Be glue spray, you can use the pump it up, or nothing, and literally just cut this off and start to style. So in my case, just because I do want this to really kind of give what I needed to give, I want this to sit directly on my hairline, and so I am gonna use just a little bit of the Gotta Be glue spray. And what I'm doing is I'm gonna do all this at once. So sometimes I'll work in sections. That's more so for you than it is for me, and so I'm just gonna do this as normal and start applying the Gotta Be glue spray from one end to the other. Go ahead and just hit it with your blow dryer just to get a little bit tacky and sticky. Not too dry because it definitely dries fast. And then right back down. We're gonna pull this back down. This is where we need a comb to go ahead and really make sure that everything is just kind of up and out of the way. And right now, nothing is really tacked down. I can feel the products kind of like on the lace a little bit, but it's definitely not as secure as it needs to be. Not yet, anyway. Most important parts are gonna be the sides. So this is where you're gonna see me hold both down and go through with your blow dryer and smooth everything back so that it dries. Alrighty, so it really does not take much, to be honest. From this point, I am gonna go ahead and just trim off the lace. You guys can see how transparent this is. Now in a normal situation, what I would do is go ahead and just tweeze this out a little bit. I'm gonna do that. So of course, if you are a beginner, the way that this unit is actually already tweezed and pre-lightly bleached, you would probably be okay here, right? But I want to take it up a notch. So I've already skipped the process of bleaching the knots, but I do want to go through and just lightly tweeze out a few hairs. And the best way to make sure that you don't take out too much hair is to part maybe about a ½ inch of hair out, pull everything else to the front, and then imagine you're creating a hairline. The reason we do this is because your natural hairline would have some type of shorter hairs here, unless you're blessed and you have full hair from root to tip. For the most part, you either have broken off hair or baby hair. So this is the true hairline here, and we want to go ahead and just tweeze it out just a teensy tiny bit. And you just do this in a diagonal motion, not going over the same spot twice. If you cannot move as fast as I am moving, please do not, because we do not want you to ruin your brand new wig. Try your best to stay away from the top portion because you do want this to be a little bit fuller. You don't want this over plugs, but typically in the temple areas is where you'll see some kind of like thinness in a hairline. And if you're a beginner, the best way to practice with hairlines is to take a photo of maybe even yourself, because it's going to be your wig or someone you love, and go ahead and actually just try to mimic that hairline. And that's the best way. That's how I learned to really like pluck and kind of tweeze out hair. And you guys can see already how the hair is literally getting caught here. So this is what we're eventually going to comb out to kind of get out of the hair. But for now, we're just doing a light plucking, and you can already see how it's just kind of faded out without going too crazy. And if you feel like you want to tweeze a little more, you can, but to be honest, less is more. And so you guys, I lifted this up a little bit so you will see kind of like that Gotta Be Glue spray. It's a hairspray, so it's gonna leave some type of like chalky tint because I'm tugging at it. It's not secured. What I'm gonna do to fix that is apply a little bit of mousse, tape this down so that it can kind of dry and set into place, and then we'll be set. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So you see I kind of avoided this area. So I'm going to go right along the temple, sideburns. I have like diagonal tweezers. I don't know if you guys have seen these before, but you can find these in any CVS, Walgreens, Target, Walmart, all that good stuff. Even on Amazon. Y'all know Amazon has everything. I probably should add one to my Amazon store so that you can find it also. And I'm just literally taking out a little bit of hair to help with the blending. All right, and this did not need much. So I'm gonna go ahead and check my work, see what's going on. And then here, I do wanna tweeze out just a little bit more in this area. All right, so now that that is set, go ahead and remove your clip. And then I just use like a big paddle brush to literally get rid of all the hair at once. You want to make sure you've gotten as much of it out, and I'll show you how much we remove from one side. This small amount of hair helps with the blending. So I know right now you're seeing that kind of like chalkiness up under here. I promise you, trust the process. And the same thing on the other side, just a small amount. And other than the hair that I just kind of tweezed out, I'm not getting like any shedding or anything that you should like be concerned about. So now, back at it, same thing. Go ahead and pull the hair up a little bit. So now I'm just gonna take a little bit of argan oil mousse. And this actually can lift up the wig. So be careful with how much of this you use, because you'll instantly, it's wet. So if you just use the hairspray, you're instantly gonna feel like, huh, is this coming off? What's happening? You should be good as long as you don't overkill. But what you're gonna do is go ahead and make sure that you hit the tabs with the hairspray. Same thing on both sides. All right, and now we've kind of set the hair into place a little bit more. So same thing, go back through with the blow dryer. So now the style is completely set, and like I said, the unit is going to come pre-plucked anyway, so if you don't want to take it up a notch, you can completely skip the very last step and go ahead and just start trimming off the edges. And when you trim it off, if you do see any areas that are kind of like lifting, this is what the mousse is for. It's going to help kind of re-wet that area so that it can really melt into the skin. So typically you wouldn't be applying a wig with makeup on, but in my case, because I am kind of wetting some areas with the mousse, it is going to disrupt my makeup a little bit. So all that you do is just go back through with the brush and kind of just pat that back in. And the only reason I'm doing this with makeup on is to give you the finished look, but typically that's not what you're going to want to do, because you want to make sure that your skin is nice, clean, all that good stuff. That's why you'll typically see stylists wipe off the area with some type of alcohol to really make sure that the products have a fresh and clean slate. But now that I have this pulled up and everything's kind of like blended now and I'm happy with it, I want to go ahead and just kind of set the style. So I'm going to take the elastic band, tie this behind my head gently. You don't need this to be super tight at all. You should not like come out of this with like creases and all that type of stuff. And then now we can still kind of work with the hairline a little bit now that it's like pushed back and we literally only have the edges exposed. Go ahead and take out your clips. Go ahead and find the style. So if we decide we want to do a side part, we can. I don't think I'm going for a side part today. I think I'm going for a middle part. So I'm going to start here, and anytime I do my parts and then I go back and play back the video, it's always off center. I don't know if it's me, and I think I just like off center parts. Yeah, like what in the world? Okay, so we're going straight. Just gonna go ahead and clip this down so I can make sure it kind of just stays out of the way. And then I'm gonna go ahead and start to work on this side with just making sure that it's super smooth, which you guys can already see. The wig is laying pretty flat. It's not really much that I have to do, but I like to just break apart the hair and then hit the roots here to really make sure that everything is nice and flat. And then of course some of you guys still have like the old school I don't even want to call it old school, like it is what it is, but some of you have the hot comb with like the on and off button. Get you one that you're able to adjust. I need to add one to my Amazon store, so after this video I think I'm going to add a couple items to the store for those of you that are like not able to find it and y'all are having trouble. So this one I definitely got from Amazon, and it has like a little kickstand, an adjustable temperature set that I turn all the way up to 450. That's why it's kind of browning. And yeah, we're just gonna wait for this to get a little bit hotter. Right now it's not really that hot. So, and keep in mind y'all, this is the unit straight out of the box, so for this to be so flat, the company definitely took their time to like press this out and really make sure that it was ready to go. So I appreciate that. You guys know I typically like to use my camera flat iron spray just to kind of hit the roots a little bit, but you don't want to go crazy because, and you definitely want it to like give it a second to dry, because if not you'll just be burning yourself. Unless you do this like on a mannequin, then who cares, but if you're doing this on your own scalp, give it a second. Don't just go right in, because you're gonna be like, Chrissy, I burned myself. And then of course we hit it with the flat iron spray. Alright, and then for the last piece, I don't think that I need the camera spray, so I'm just gonna test it out. Look at that. I am gonna take some camera flat iron spray for the flyaways here, and then we're just gonna do the same thing that we did on this side on the other. Hit it with a little bit of camera. And the last piece. Alrighty, so now I am completely satisfied with the base. I could literally just keep this bone straight and call it a day. Back a bit so that you guys can see, and this is the length on this. 24 inches. I did go ahead and trim off maybe about an inch for a couple stragglers here, and it hits. And then of course, to begin the layering, I'm actually gonna come down here directly behind my ear, get rid of that piece, come here directly behind the ear. So for now we're only gonna focus on these two sections because this is what's really gonna frame the face. Once we get the lens here, we'll match them in the back as well. So the easiest way to do this is to start with a razor comb. Of course, there's going to be one on the Amazon store. So this is the one that I'm using. There's a ton out there that you can use. This one's actually already dirty. There's hair already in it. I'm going to start doing some face framing layers. So I don't know if you guys got a chance to see my V-part tutorial, but I did have some leave out. You guys, I'm going for that exact look because it's a wig. And I love the way that that hair came out. It was given the exact same texture, except I don't have to worry about having leave out. So I did have some really kind of short layers because of where my hair hit. My natural hair hits here. So then that means when I curl it up, it should hit somewhere about here, depending on how tight the curl is. So I'm gonna start the layers from the bottom of my chin. I have a long face, so my layers will probably be longer than yours. So just do this according to your own face. Like, you can't, exactly copy everything. Like, I can't tell you like this is 6 inches and you know, but I am gonna start from a diagonal. So less is more. Go ahead and split this now into 2 as well. So now I have this section, and then I'm literally just gonna start here, going in heavy in a diagonal motion, going downward. And I do want this to obviously not be as long as this piece here, because this is what we're going to essentially layer as well. So now that we have the face layer here, you guys can see how it has that nice diagonal here. We did not have to do too much work, and it's still kind of fringed too, so it's not super choppy. We're gonna go ahead and just literally match this layer with this one, starting from here. So take that longest length, go ahead and start to razor it backward slowly. You don't have to move too fast. And so we were still able to keep a little bit of length here that will eventually match up here as well, you see? And if you want, you can go ahead and just match this hair up from the back. Okay, so now we have kept the length. Go ahead and split your hair directly down the middle, and we're just working on one side at a time, because I'm gonna do this side without, you know, off camera, just so that you can focus on this for now. So same thing, you should see that the layer completely flows at a downward motion, and you still get to keep your length, right? And so now that we've kind of shaped the hair, we still need to actually layer it, because now what you'll see if you pull this out is that now we have a shorter piece here, but everything else is still long going backward. So this is what I'm going to use as a guide. I'm going to pick up all of the hair. I already know what's been layered and what hasn't. What has been layered will naturally fall as I begin to kind of pull the hair out. The reason that I'm explaining this so basic is because if you are a beginner, you're not going to understand what I mean when I say over direct the hair and pull it this way and we're at a 90-degree angle. Like, you guys are not going to know. So if you're a visual learner like I am, pull this out straight, find the longest layer, and then literally begin to razor down in a diagonal motion so that your layers all meet up. Let me show you what I mean. It's kind of hard to explain, especially because I'm doing it with a razor comb. But yeah, so let me show you. Longest layer. We're gonna slowly take the hair down. And we're just getting rid of bulk at this point. Same thing, go ahead and pull it out. You can already find the shortest layer here. So this means somewhere between this shortest layer all the way down here, we're gonna need to make sure that this blends, and that's all that we're doing. Shortest layer, cut it down to a diagonal. Voila. And go ahead and just keep this process going until you are happy with all the layers. You see, longest one. We got a little bit of imbalance here. So you want to go ahead and we're going to get rid of all of this so that it eventually meets here. Longest length, I'm pulling whatever doesn't belong, pulling it out. There we go. And typically it's not much, so you don't have to like be nervous. Not like, oh, Chrissy, I'm messing up my hair. Like, no, you're good, darling. If you want the layers to be a little bit deeper, you see, we have a nice balance now. It's really kind of up to you with how crazy you want the layers to be. The way that I kind of check this is I literally just kind of go through the hair and I'm able to see, literally you can see the layers going all the way down. They should meet up. You should not have any points sticking out. You see here, we have a little bit that needs to be kind of blended and faded a little bit. Make sure all your points are meeting up. There we go. Everything is literally like fringed and wisped out. If I was doing this with scissors, I would pull the hair straight out here. So I'm just checking my work, going backwards, same thing, making sure that everything lines up. And this is where I'm gonna meet the back of my head as well. Right now there's really no layering. You can see the shortest layer here, and then you can see how it's still bulky and kind of just like long in one length. I'm gonna go through, take a little bit of hair that's already been layered. This is almost too much hair to be working with, but I'm gonna take a little bit here, find the shortest length. There's my shortest length here, and then I need to match this with here. So we're gonna pull it out and drag it down. And once you've done that, go ahead and complete that step going all the way down. We found the shortest length. We need that to blend here. We found it. You see? We need that to blend here. Doing this in the smallest mirror, I wish y'all could see like the workspace. Literally blend it. The mirror that I'm looking at is literally like this small. You can go behind the head. Shortest length. Double checking for any type of like extra weight. I'm not really seeing any right now, to be honest. The blending we've done so far has created the layer in the back of the head also. So then lastly, you want to go through and just double check. Shortest layer. I'm seeing a ton of bulk right here. So this is where we missed. Ton of bulk here. This is the shortest length. We want to go ahead and blend that out. Pull it straight out. The shortest length is naturally gonna fall. And this is where you begin to blend. Check. Everything's blended. We're looking for like that diagonal motion of like everything kind of being frayed and fringed out. You guys can see? I hope so. Same thing here. Remember, it was just kind of large and bulky. We do have a little bit of bulkiness here. You can kind of see the shortest length, and then you're seeing right up in here, this is what needs to go. So we're just gonna go back through, pull it straight out. Okay. You can almost tell what needs to go because it'll thin itself out. There we go. There we go. Now the hair is completely layered. I don't know if you can tell from here, but everything is like nicely blended and flowy, and the shorter pieces just naturally fall into the longer pieces. And this is a true layer. Like, you don't have to do too much. You don't have to be an expert at knowing too much about scissors and the way that they work and the points on the head. This is literally following one guide all the way around the head. And I'm essentially going to do the same thing on the left side to the right side versus where we are now. Super layered. Nice, pretty, flowy. You guys can see the layers just naturally before it's even time to curl. You can see them. Beautiful. In comparison to still very pretty, bone straight, but this is what really makes the difference. If you want to curl some hair, unless you are going for like a princess wave, curling this is kind of just going to end up in a loose wave because there's no layers, there's no dimension. So this is where we are. Alright, so to go ahead and match this up, I'm going to pull the hair here. I only need a small piece of hair. Just this much is where we began cutting. Right here. And cut it off. I'm going to go ahead and diagonal motion. So from this point, now that we have our guide, everything is literally going to follow this layer from the start to finish. Alrighty guys, so now we have a full set of layers, and then all that's left to do from this point is to pretty much style. I'm going to take a little bit foundation and just hit it right where I can see the start of that. Alright, so now we can finally remove. You guys, look at this hair. First of all, it looks good. All right, we have everything melted. I'm literally just gonna go ahead and throw some curls in here, and that'll pretty much be the look. Okay babes, so we have the curls in. I have not pulled them apart, have not done anything. What I am gonna do is take a little bit of a Cream of Nature. This is like their gloss and humidity resistant shiner. Gonna take a little bit of that to go over the tops and to kind of run through the hair. Not that we really need it. The hair does have a good luster, and one thing about Kinky Straight, it definitely holds a curl, so that's not anything you have to worry about. And then I'm literally just gonna go through with my fingers and kind of just play with everything. I don't know how I forgot to curl this piece, but yes. Okay, here we go. And this is what I mean about the face framing layers. You guys can already see how much body. You guys, look at these curls. They look so good and just healthy. If you want to go through with like a wide tooth comb, you definitely can. Let me see. Look at that. You guys, I am so freaking excited. Look at this. This looks so good. And remember what I was going for, that V-part unit that I had layered up and curled and had some leave out. You guys, we've mimicked the style without actually having to have any leave out. It looks so freaking good. Look at the curls, baby. And I don't want them to be too uniform, so I'll literally just kind of have them all over, but like, they look so good. So I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely love this style. It looks super natural, super full, bouncy, shiny. We're not getting shedding, tangling, none of that. And you guys see the hair looks really nice whether you wear it straight or if you decide to wear it curls. Based off of the way that kinky straight hair works, I absolutely feel confident that this hair is gonna stay curled for quite a while. And y'all know typically I take off my wigs at night anyway and so it's definitely gonna last a little bit longer. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I love you guys so much. Stay pretty and I will see you in my next video. Bye babies.